One of the hardest things to deal with after being a victim of narcissistic abuse are the situations in which it feels like the narcissist won. They got the best of you. They got what they wanted. There was no accountability, no justice. It can be really, really hard to accept this and to process it. And that's what I want to talk about in today's video, is really how, in reality, the narcissist hasn't really won anything. Welcome to Looking Behind the Mirror, where we explore narcissism and take our lives back as we make sense out of nonsense. As a quick disclaimer, everything I say is based on my opinions and my personal experiences. I'm not a professional, and if you're really struggling, I encourage you to seek professional help. I am providing links below for you. I want to start this video by validating how devastating some of these wins can be, some of these things that the narcissist gets away with, these situations where they seem to get the better of you. Some of these situations are really serious and they leave permanent changes in your life. Maybe the narcissist caused you to lose custody of your children or lose your home, lose your job. Maybe they physically harmed you in a way that's going to affect you for the rest of your life. Maybe they sued you and they won in some situation that was very unfair. I'm certainly not saying that we should just forget about and brush off the things that narcissists can do, the things they get away with. The real point of this video is dealing with that emotional aspect of losing a battle. That feeling that someone just decided to do something terrible to you and they got away with it and there's no justice. It just can be so hard to accept this and to process it. We might imagine the narcissist gloating over what they've gotten away with, telling people lies about what actually happened, and people supporting them and believing them. And this is so hard to deal with. It's so hard to deal with feeling like we lost the battle. So how do we overcome this emotional humiliation and this anger that we probably feel? How infuriating the unfairness of some of these situations are. I think if we reframe our perspective and we look at the reality of what actually happened here, we can stop viewing this as a battle that we lost and we can start viewing it as what it really is: an unfortunate run-in with someone who spends their whole life destroying other people for no good reason. It's not about any battle that you ever planned on entering into. You probably didn't plan on winning or losing anything when you first came in contact with this person. And in reality, narcissists that engage in these kinds of endless battles, they are the real losers here. And that's not to downplay the enormous damage that they can cause to other people. That's not to downplay the pain that they cause. But in the grand scheme of things, they are the real losers here because they never gain anything of real substance, of real meaning in all of these battles. No matter how many they win, they never really gain anything that really gets them anywhere. And that's the first thing I think that we can think about when we're struggling with these feelings of having been beaten by the narcissist. Is for us, this was an event. This was something terrible that happened to us. For a narcissist, this is Groundhog's Day. And if you don't know, Groundhog's Day was a movie where somebody just kept living the same day, Groundhog's Day, over and over and over and over again. Narcissists might win these little battles in their life, but they are always going to end up back at square one, right back where they started, where nothing is fair, everyone's out to get them, nothing's ever enough, they're never happy, they're never satisfied, and it's your fault. They're going to make you pay for this. They're always going to end up back in that spot. And when I say it's your fault, the you in their world is constantly going to be changing in and out. It's always going to be somebody else, some new person who's just ruining their whole life. And this happens over and over. They never get anywhere. They never make any real progress, largely because they don't want to, because the only real progress they can make is to take accountability for the way that they are continually sabotaging their relationships and their life. So who's the real loser here when you can move on with your life? You can find better relationships. You can learn from what's happened here. And the narcissist is always going to end up right back in that same situation. They're always going to end up fighting some stupid battle again and again and again and again. Whether they win, whether they lose, they're always going to end up in that same place, just on their own hamster wheel, trying to prove something to themselves that they're never going to get to the bottom of. Another thing to think about is when you're in a relationship of any kind, whether it be a friendship, a family relationship, a romantic relationship, a work relationship, any kind of relationship where you're a little too close to a narcissist, you cannot help but be dragged into the battles that they start with other people, or to be dragged into a battle with them. It's just going to happen. You don't have to be doing anything wrong for them to drag you into this chaos and this drama. So of course you're going to lose some of those battles, especially battles they try to drag you into that you don't want to be a part of. Maybe they want you to take their side with some argument they're having with somebody that you maybe kind of agree with. And you can't win in a situation like that, because you're either going to sell your soul helping them win some battle against somebody that isn't actually in the wrong, or they're going to punish you for not supporting them in these battles, and they're going to start a battle with you. And it's usually 50-50 that you're going to win or lose that battle. And none of this was anything that you asked for. And it has nothing to do with any moral character that you have. It has nothing to do with your strengths or weaknesses. It just has to do with the bad luck of having run into a narcissist in your life. If you run into a narcissist, you are going to be confronted with these battles. And the best way to actually win is to disengage as soon as you can, if you can, right? I mean, maybe you can't just quit your job. So you just have to live with a boss that emotionally abuses you until you can find something better. Maybe you can't just move when your romantic partner is dragging you into this chaos and drama. You can't always just get away from it, and you can't always win the situations they drag you into. And so this has nothing to do with you. And I think the point I'm trying to make is some of the pain and the humiliation and the anger that we can feel can come from how it feels so personal, and we take it so personal. It's such a personal humiliation and insult, when in reality, it has nothing to do with you. You didn't do anything to cause these problems, to cause these battles, to cause these situations in which you lost some war that you didn't mean to engage in. If you're in a situation where you're just getting dragged into things that you didn't cause, that you didn't have anything to do with, you can't help but have some of these situations turn out very badly for you. A lot of these situations really come down to luck of how they turn out. So I think it can be really helpful if you're really reeling in the anger and the unfairness and the injustice of a situation that you've been in. I think it's really helpful to back up and really think about where this started. If the narcissist fired you or sued you, or they cheated on you and ran off with someone else and they won this situation, back up and really think about, where did this all start? You were probably just trying to be their friend, or just trying to do a good job, or just trying to love them, trying to give them something good. You were probably trying to do something that was going to benefit them somehow. And they started this war, this battle, this situation out of nothing for no reason. It's really easy to lose sight of how pointless and meaningless and unnecessary these battles are when we get caught up in the middle of them, because they feel so personal, because the narcissist is so good at telling us how we caused this and this is our fault, when in reality, all we were doing was just living our life, probably trying to do something good for them. And the next thing we knew, we were caught up in this pointless, ridiculous battle with someone who just wants to fight with people. And so if they won this stupid, pointless battle that never needed to start in the first place, I mean, what does that really mean? What's the value of that? I think it says a lot more about them than it does about you when you really look at your original intentions at the point in which you came into this person's life. What was the point of it turning into a war? And what was the value of winning some pointless battle that never needed to start in the first place? There was nothing to win. There was no battle to fight until they made something out of nothing. I feel like narcissists do this to soothe their own ego because they go through life feeling totally irrelevant. They go through life feeling like a huge loser that doesn't matter, that nobody cares about, that can't do anything right. Deep down, these insecurities that they have deep down, they feel like a nothing, like a nobody. And so I think that some of them purposefully create these pointless battles, these pointless wars over nothing so that they can win these pointless battles and wars and feel like somebody for a minute, feel like they matter, like they were able to get one over on somebody else and therefore they really are more important than they felt like they were. And of course, whatever victory they win or whatever boost to their ego they get, it never lasts long, which goes back to what I was saying about Groundhog's Day. Before they know it, they're feeling irrelevant and unimportant again, and they're right back to square one, trying to find some war to fight with someone so they can win and feel important again. And really, in the end, in the grand scheme of things, in the long run, they are destroying everything good that's actually coming into their life. They are the one that is sabotaging themselves. Even if they win these battles, what did they really gain? Most of them, when they win these battles, maybe they got a little bit of money, or maybe they got a temporary relationship that seems good for a few minutes. Maybe they got a promotion at a job. Okay, I mean, what's that really worth in the grand scheme when this person is going to continue to live an empty, shallow, meaningless, disappointing, frustrating life where nothing is ever enough to really make them feel like they matter at all for any long-term period of time. And what's happening in reality is they're sabotaging all of their relationships. All the people that come into their lives that want to give them something good, that want to make things better, they're pushing all of those people away, alienating them and destroying lives. And people that do this over and over again, no matter how victorious they are in these made-up battles that they create for no reason, they never really gain anything of importance. They're constantly losing things. They're losing you. They're losing your respect. They're losing all the things that you were trying to bring into their life. And that's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, they're doing this over and over again. It's not just all the things that you were going to give to them, that you were going to bring into their life. They've done this countless times. The amount of support and camaraderie and friendship and love that they have thrown away and destroyed is mind-boggling when you really stop to think about it. So what have they really won? Some tiny temporary little feeling of victory and a boost to their ego that only lasts a few minutes? Meanwhile, they've lost everything that could have actually meant something to them. Another thing to think about when you're struggling with the feeling of having been beaten by a narcissist is that this is their perspective. This is how they're looking at it. And their perspective is very skewed. Their judgment is completely warped. What does it really mean when someone wins, when they get something over on you, when you have lost, when they got their way, and this infuriating feeling of injustice and humiliation? I mean, I think what it really means is that there was a moment where the narcissist was able to control circumstances that harmed you, and they got away with it. And there was nothing you could do about it. And that's really difficult to accept. That's really difficult to deal with. I think that's what this all comes down to. But what does this really mean? How does it make you feel? And how do you think the narcissist is perceiving this? I know the situations that I've been in my life, I've had situations where I feel like I really got one over on the narcissist. I came out on top. I won. I really showed them. They couldn't take advantage of me like that. And things went really well for me. And I've been in situations where I have lost. I've been completely humiliated in ways that I don't feel like I deserved to be. I've been alienated. I've been made a pariah and a scapegoat. I have lost and I have been humiliated. And in both of these kinds of situations, when I really think about it, when I think about the situations where I won, I mean, I can't know for sure, but I can imagine from these narcissists that I knew, I can only imagine, especially in one situation in particular, that this person is continuing to go along telling everybody what a victim they are and how mean I am. And people are believing this person, that I did something terrible to them. I'm the bad guy. And I mean, is that really a win? I mean, I protected myself, and that's what really matters. But this feeling of victory, they didn't learn anything. I didn't teach them a lesson. I didn't change their frame of mind. They're going around thinking that I'm the bad guy, that they're a victim. If anything, this fed into the stories in their head about how the world's out to get them, and everyone's always going to betray them in the end. You know, I'm a liar. I'm a traitor. And, you know, is that really a victory over them? It's kind of frustrating when I think about it that way. And on the other hand, when I think of situations where I was really humiliated, where I really lost out, when I think of one in particular, I am sure that this person to this day still feels like I didn't lose enough. Like, I really screwed them over. And even though I feel like I lost a lot, like they were not going to feel satisfied or like they really won or justice was done until I was living on the streets or in prison or something like that. So even though I was humiliated and I feel like I really lost and this person got the better of me, I'm pretty sure to this day, they're still running around feeling like I didn't lose enough and that I took advantage of them. And so did I really lose to this person? I feel like I did, but I don't think, and I know I'm speculating, but just knowing this person, I don't think that that's how he views it. I think he probably is still really angry that I didn't lose more to him. So who really won? Who's the loser here? As we're trying to process and accept these humiliations and these losses that we have with the narcissist, I think it's important to really think about the narcissist's perspective, because I think that's a big part of the humiliation and the anger and the injustice, is imagining that they're over there gloating and thinking about how much better they are, how much smarter they are, how we deserved it and they won and ha ha ha. Now, even if they're thinking that, I think it's important to put this in perspective and understand that the narcissist is always going to think what they want to think. No matter what you do, no matter if you clearly came out the winner in the situation, if you clearly got one over on them, you outsmarted them, you got everything you wanted, you humiliated them, it doesn't matter what actually happened. The narcissist is going to create a narrative in their head, and they are going to twist the reality around to fit whatever they want to tell themselves, whatever story they want to tell themselves. So the reality of what really happened and how that's making you feel is completely disconnected from what the narcissist is actually feeling and thinking and telling themselves. And I think it's important to realize that if you're sitting there feeling hurt and humiliated and embarrassed and angry, those are all really valid emotions based on what you experienced. But I think it's important to understand that the narcissist is in their own fantasy world. They aren't necessarily feeling any of the things that you might imagine that they're feeling. They are telling themselves whatever story they want to, that's only loosely based on whatever actually happened. So you can feel the feelings that you have based on your reality of what you experienced and what this person did to you, but don't think that you need to teach the narcissist a lesson, or you need to change their mind about something, or you need to show them that that they can't do this to you, because you cannot influence their perspective. and the way that they look at things and the way that they're going to believe things happened, because they are living in a fantasy world. And so what I'm really trying to say is it doesn't matter what they think about what happened. It doesn't matter if they think that you're a loser and that they're smarter than you, because they're going to think that anyway, and it's going to be based on nothing but their own fantasies and delusions, stories they tell themselves that are based on nothing but their feelings and how they want to see themselves. And you can't control that. And they're the real loser here. They're the person completely disconnected from reality, completely disconnected from anything of substance, anything that could actually give them anything meaningful in their life. I know I always say this, and I know it's easier said than done, but let them think that they got the better of you. Let them think that they're smarter, that they outwitted you, that they got what, or that you got what you deserved. Let them think that, because before you know it, they're going to be on to some new stupid battle with somebody else that never needed to happen in the first place. They're going to be right back to square one, trying to prove to themselves that they matter, that they're smarter than anybody else, that the world is out to get them, and none of it has any lasting meaning to them. So you really don't need to get caught up on what they're thinking and how they're perceiving the situations that they're causing, because it has no real substance or meaning to it. And at the end of the day, victims of narcissistic abuse have the opportunity to grow, to learn, and to process these things in a way where we can either learn to avoid situations going this far in the future, or we can learn to accept and process these things if they do happen to us. We can get out of our own Groundhog's Day of having these things occur over and over. We can gain things that really give us substance and knowledge and wisdom. We can gain meaningful things out of these situations, out of these brief moments where the narcissist was able to control something that affected us. We can gain something and come out the other side better for it. The narcissist can't do that. The narcissist is never going to learn anything. No matter how many battles they win or lose, they're never going to come out better for it. They're never going to learn how to stop engaging in this cyclical, self-sabotaging roller coaster that they insist on staying on in order to try to manage this fragile ego that they're constantly trying to deal with. So if you're trying to deal with a situation in your life, something that has happened, an isolated incident that has made you feel very angry, made you feel like there's no justice, made you feel humiliated, just remember that this is one isolated incident that the narcissist had control over for a moment. But they're not going to come out of this a better person, a wiser person. They're not going to gain anything really meaningful or of substance out of this. But this is something you can do. You can come out the true winner. You can come out better. You can come out understanding that no matter what they've done to you, no matter what they've gotten away with, you can be the real winner here. You can be the one who really gains something. And the narcissist, no matter what's happened, is always going to be the biggest loser. I hope this helps. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and comment below any ideas you have for me for future videos. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you like this video and would like to see more like it in the future. Until next time, thanks. Bye.